In this video, we will be counting down my 16 favorite songs about serial killers, and excuse the sensationalist title, the true crime genre often gets accused of sensationalizing murder and killing and gore and all that. And while this is really only a view that a disinterested outsider could have for an entire genre, and we all know it's not the case, it's also an incredibly shallow perspective, as there are so many types of true crime content that it's hard to say you don't like all of them. I mean, I hate most reality TV with a vehement passion, but there are still some shows that can suck me in.
A lot of people work really, really hard for their dreams, but it's not meant for everybody.
That's why you use auto-tune and I don't.
This whole issue of sensationalism reminds me a lot of Sturgeon's Law, which, while focused specifically on the science fiction genre originally, is pretty accurate across all genres. Sturgeon's Law holds that 90% of everything is crap. So without an appreciation for a genre, you're unlikely to even see the good stuff. Therefore, I really wanted to play with the idea of sensationalism and the good stuff in a genre with both the title and also the content of this video. So this video is both sensationalist and very real, absurd and deadly serious, and also cross-genre. In this video, I hope to show the artistry in true crime topics and also the variety of ways that stories can be told musically. And if I can introduce someone to a new artist, hey, that's cool too. That said, other than facts about the songs, everything else said in this video is just my opinion. So take it with a grain of salt. It's not objective reality, just what one true crime writer and fan found really fascinating and good to listen to. You may even have your own list. I mean, after all, I really like the genre grindcore, and most people think that genre sucks. And one last thing before we get started, I should mention that all of the following songs are available on my Real True Crime playlist, which, if you don't know about, it's a compilation of true crime songs that are really about true crimes. I have some of the details about what songs are based on what crimes in my Pinterest pins. And now what you've been waiting for. Coming in at number 16, we have C.W. McCall's Coming Back for More, the Alfred Packer story, also known as Cannibal Song.
Old Al Packer was a real bone cracker, got lost in a blizzard one day.
This song is just fun. And yes, it's true that it is about a really gruesome tale, a man who ate a group of travelers when they were all stuck in a mountain pass in the 1800s.
But it had been a hard winter, so he had them all for dinner, and they didn't find their boots until May. It was Al Packer's legendary coronary fast food cannibal bar and buffet.
It's about a case that was so long ago people have a hard time feeling as much emotional connection to it, and it's also a song that, in its words and presentation, is a lot more tame and for all ages than some true crime songs. And just a heads up, that isn't going to be the case with all of these songs, so keep that in mind. Coming in at number 15.
The adverts, Gary Gilmore's Eyes.
Now, if you don't know, Gary Gilmore was a thief who murdered a hotel manager and a convenience store manager in robberies, despite the fact that both of the men fully complied with his requests. He just had him lay down on the ground and shot him in the back of the head execution style. But after he was arrested, Gary Gilmore demonstrated extreme empathy for his victims, or at least so he said. So Gary demanded to be executed, and he was in 1977 by firing squad.
I listen to my earphones and I catch the evening news. A murderer's been killed and he donates his sight to science. I'm locked into a private board, I realize that I must be looking through Gary Gilmore.
Now the song isn't exactly about Gary Gilmore, it's about getting Gary Gilmore's eyes in a transplant.
They're peeling off the bandages, I'm wincing in the light. The nurse is looking anxious and she's quivering with fright. The doctors are avoiding me, my vision is confused.
So it's sort of this idea of like, what if you woke up tomorrow and you could see everything through Gary Gilmore's eyes? It's kind of a weird idea, but interesting one. It's also incredibly catchy in the way that British classic rock does best.
Looking through Gary Gilmore's eyes.
Number 14 is Unabomber by Merv. And if you know this song, you know this song. I am the Unabomber.
I am the Unabomber. I am the Unabomber.
So obviously this song is about the Unabomber, a serial-killing anti-technology bomber who bombed people he felt were leading humans in the wrong direction with technology, or who he thought needed to be taught a lesson. This song has a really great groove, but it's also a really interesting take on the Unabomber and his perspective. I like the way the song emphasizes the technological and the bomb aspects of the Unabomber with the music itself. And the lyrics are so clear and simple in a very similar way to the way that Ted Kaczynski wrote.
Making bombs out of toothpicks and glue. I put them in a box and I send them to you. I am the Unabomber.
Number 13 is Exploding Octopus by Ill Bill.
He was accepted to Harvard at 16, child prodigy, math was specializing in complex analysis geometry. Earned a PhD in mathematics early, youngest professor ever hired by UC in Berkeley.
This song asks you to consider what you would do and how far you would go if you were faced with what you considered absolute evil.
What would you do? How far would you go? If you thought that you could change the world for the greater good, how would you know what's right or wrong? Try to play God, mail a bomb to the CEO of a school or an airline.
And though you may not have considered it in these exact words before, this is actually a question we ask ourselves quite a bit, particularly when we think about foreign policy. For instance, after the 9/11 attacks, my country, the United States, invaded two sovereign countries and overturned a dictator that wasn't involved in the attacks. And I know this is a very touchy issue for people, but the question remains, how far will you go in the name of what's right? And is that going in that direction still right?
Do you justify murder for peace? Do you believe that technology is the beast? Imagine if your iPhone disappeared, that would be weird. Could you function in the world without technology, or would you be scared?
Given the unfortunate timing of this video, I know a lot of people are thinking about this exact issue right now after the Israel attacks and the retaliation. And while it's a tough issue to consider, the thought about how far any one of us will go in order to prevent absolute evil is really one of those questions that we should approach and think about. Because ultimately, it speaks to our values and what we truly believe on a deeper level. Something I feel like a lot of people don't really investigate in their own lives. So with these questions and these issues, I'm not encouraging you to think in one way or the other, but to just consider different perspectives. And again, I think that's something amazing that art can do, particularly music, because it's something that's coming towards you and it's like a dialogue and somebody talking at you, and then you can think about it and reflect.
Ignored. Industrial society and its future, the manifesto of Kaczynski's war. Life is seclusion, Bibles and bruises, rifles and Uzis, devices reclusive, designed to confuse the FBI, throw them off plan, blowing off hands, blinding people first.
I also like the way that this beat subtly connects the bass drum and the bass guitar, which emphasizes the low tones, creating a bomb starting impression, particularly that part that's like dum dum. Number 12, Poor Eileen by Superheaven. This song is about Eileen Wuornos, the infamous serial killing hooker. Like many of the other songs on this list, it offers an incredibly humanizing perspective looking into her life. Also, as someone who grew up at the latter end of alternative rock, I really like bands that have an alternative vibe, and Superheaven is a new band that has an alternative rock vibe. Number 11, Blind Melon, Skinned. This song is about Ed Gein, one of the most infamous serial killers of all time, despite the fact that he actually killed very few people and mostly was a grave robber who made really disturbing furniture.
I'll make a shoehorn out of your shin. I'll make a lampshade of durable skin. No, don't you know that I'm always feeling able when I'm sitting home and I'm carving out your navel. I'm just sitting here carving out your navel.
This song explores his story, focusing very much on his furniture creation, but also has some interesting thoughts about wearing people's skins, which Ed Gein is accused of doing.
When will I realize that this skin
Number 10, FC, The Freedom Club by Sleepy Time Gorilla Museum.
And let us dream now the impossible dream of a math professor.
And I know you're thinking to yourself, dude, what? Another Unabomber song? What the hell, guy? And you're right. Making this list, I realized that I have a really deep fascination with the Unabomber. It's true. And something I'm keenly aware of is that I missed my chance to interview him about MK Ultra when he died. But that aside, if you'd like me to make a video about him and MK Ultra, write MK Ultra made me do it in the comments, so people that didn't watch this video will be super confused.
And let us never forget that the human race with technology is like an alcoholic with a barrel of wine.
And I think this song is really interesting in both lyrical content and musical construction. The music on this album and on this song are really original takes on a lot of metal tropes. And so for somebody that likes metal music as much as I do, it's a very interesting sort of meta critique on a lot of those things.
Let us turn our backs on this world of ease.
Number 9, Creeks by Big Gip.
When we was kids, I was into French kissing, and then they imposed the curfew, Atlanta kids missing. We was them kids, now we grown. I'm hip to every evil plot you wanna put on, and we bring you back to this real. Cause some of these kids, families, they still live, dripping with tears. I'm saying smile if you can, cause the law don't let kidnappers get the last hand.
This song is about the experience of living in Atlanta while Wayne Williams was active.
I had the bus club, I know he was dealing with Wayne when he got stuck. I know club was dealing with Wayne when he got stuck.
Wayne Williams is in prison for killing 2 men in 1981, but he is also widely thought to be the Atlanta child murderer, a serial killer who was active from 1979 to 1981, and who had at least 24 confirmed child victims, but likely is responsible for 30 or more deaths.
You should get the shivers every time you pass the Chattahoochee River.
And the song is a really interesting take on a case because it's kind of like the movie Summer of Sam, where the real exploration of the song isn't so much about the killer, but about how the killer Wayne Williams affected living in Atlanta, particularly for young black youth.
Edward Smith, Alfred Evans, they were the first two. Eddie Duncan was the kid that my family knew. His body found on March 31st. Blessed be the man who walked with a curse. LaTanya gone from her home. Mr. Wayne helped put adolescent faces on the 2% milk boxes when they was school before plastic had a chance.
Number 8, El Come Gente by Soulfly. Now this song is in Spanish. The title means he eats people. I'll leave the rest for you to translate. The song itself is about Peter Stump, an alleged serial killer, cannibal, witch, and werewolf from the 1500s. This song particularly is pretty groovy for a metal song or a new metal song. Number 7, Ripping into Pieces, Church of Misery. Ripping into Pieces is about the Yorkshire Ripper, Peter Sutcliffe. He murdered 13 women and attempted to murder at least 7 other people in the late 1970s in the UK. As you probably realize, the Yorkshire Ripper is an homage to Jack the Ripper, an infamous serial killer from the 1800s and also in the UK. Church of Misery is one of those bands that sits between a couple of genres. I think most people would put them somewhere in punk hardcore from the late 80s. Though that said, this song has a really groovy stoner doom metal kind of feel. And if, like me, you grew up listening to a lot of classic rock, southern rock, and country, you probably find a lot of that music just kind of naturally groovy. I know I do, even though none of those are really my favorite genres. Number 6, Fish by Tyler, the Creator.
Don't know what to think, cause last time I attempted this shit, the George ordered me to see a shrink.
Now this song is a disturbing internal take on Albert Fish, or somebody like him. Albert Fish was a rapist, child molester, cannibal, and serial killer with at least 3 child murder victims.
Tell her that I love her, and by next week you can hear her shriek from the gashes in her cheeks. No, I'm not a freak, I am meekly a creep. The neighbors by the creek says my house stinks and it reeks of a chic girl. Streaks of red, even though all pussy is pink.
And beyond the content of this song, I really do like the way that it's put together. Tyler, the Creator, has some incredibly unique music. I like his vibe, though it's somewhat hard to pin down. 5. Mary Bell, the Child from Hell.
Mary Bell, the child from hell, where are you now? Are you doing well?
Now this is a fun campfire kind of acoustic song from Grindcore Masters Macabre.
In 1968, 11-year-old girl named Mary Bell killed 4-year-old Martin Brown. 2 months later with Brian Howe.
The song is about Mary Bell, an 11-year-old girl who coerced her 13-year-old friend and neighbor into assisting her murdering 2 toddlers. She, for very obvious reasons, is a notorious character. 4. The Window by Black Dahlia Murder. This song is about Gilles de Rais, an incredibly depraved pedophile and child murderer from the 1400s in France. Incidentally, he was one of Joan of Arc's generals before he became a serial killer. And as a metal song, I know that this one isn't necessarily for everybody. This song is about something that was very important to de Rais, the window. Now I would tell you what the window really is, but it's super dark, and since most people can't understand metal lyrics, this might actually be for the best. And those that are curious could check the lyrics out themselves. Before I count down my top 3 favorite songs about serial killers, here's a quick word from the Queen Bee.
Honey game.
You're not going to become a millionaire from using this app, but becoming a richer hundredaire every year isn't a bad proposition either, especially when you're getting paid to do basically nothing. In my case, I make between 25 and 70 cents a day just from having my phone and computer run Honeygain. It works out to $20 payments about every other month. I started around January or February of 2023 and have made $80.19 as of November 2023. Just from traffic sharing and opening the honeypot every day. They basically sublease portions of your internet in order to provide a wide and very digital proxy network so that companies can test their digital assets in different areas around the world. So to get started, all you do is simply install the app on your mobile, tablet, or computer device and turn it on. Remember, the rates vary by area, meaning yours could be lower or even higher. So check out Honeygain today. And use my link in the description because then you get a $5 starting gift in your account. And what do you have to lose other than almost free money? And now back to the video. Number 3, Dahmer and the Limbs by Nicole Dahlhanger.
And the flesh is just the flesh, just something to get past. All the tissues, all the cartilage, all the soft fat.
This song is about Jeffrey Dahmer, as is probably obvious.
And if one day you must die, I want it to be inside me.
And while incredibly controversial, I actually really love Nicole Dahlhanger and some of the related traumacore genre. As a person with CPTSD, I find some of it oddly relaxing despite the disturbing nature of the content. Which is probably also why gore and true crime don't weigh on me quite as much as they do on other true crime writers. However, her music is definitely not for kids or people who just like soprano women who quietly sing over gentle melodies. because the content of her music is pretty disturbing.
Split spine to sternum, ripped open and spread out, swallowed in my bowels, anything to make you stay.
And her music is somewhat haunting and ethereal, which adds to the disassociative or intensely associative effects this music creates for people who naturally do such things. In other words, people with CPTSD naturally disassociate or incredibly focus on things. This is why ADHD is such a comorbid diagnosis with people with trauma. And the song itself really explores his feelings of loneliness and humanizes him and his drive for the destructive killing that he did.
In my chest, I know how he felt when they left, when they go. Every muscle, every tendon, every bone screams no, please don't.
And again, while none of these songs really seek, at least in my opinion, to glorify or make an excuse for these people, they really express the reasoning behind what they're doing.
And the flesh is just the flesh, but when it's all that you have left, it becomes the only thing you can keep of them.
And I think the song embodies that idea very well. Number 2, Scrub-a-Dub-Dub by Macabre.
Scrub-a-dub-dub, 3 men in a tub. Jeffrey Dahmer took showers with that man in his tub.
I love this band, and honestly could have made this entire list just with songs by them. But I figured since I listen to more things than metal, and most people don't particularly like metal, there might be reason to think about other artists here.
He was too tired to cut them up, so he put them in cold water with desert vinegar.
Interestingly, a visiting college professor introduced me to this band. And so, hey, if you're out there, Andrew, I hope you're doing well. And with this song, I really like the way that they mix the silliness of Chicago grindcore with classic medleys like Rub-a-Dub-Dub, 3 Men in a Tub, while making the lyrics about true crime. Every song that band does is about true crime.
So he put them in cold water, desert vinegar.
And it's probably really obvious at this point, the song is about Jeffrey Dahmer and how he stored his victims in a bathtub after murdering them and before cutting them up to eat, use their bones, or melt in acid buckets. And if you really like this song, it's on an entire album about Jeffrey Dahmer, aptly titled Dahmer.
First there was 1, and then there was 2 dead men in his tub, and then the stench grew.
Also, don't feel bad if this isn't your jam. Grindcore is a deeply unpopular genre, even among metalheads. Most of the genre is not even this catchy, which is to say it doesn't get better than this band. If you don't like this band, you will not like grind. Number 1, Sufjan Stevens, John Wayne Gacy Jr.
And on his best behavior, in a dark room on the bed, he kissed them all. He'd killed 10,000 people.
And I love this song. I came across it during an extremely miserable time where I was trying to figure out what exactly was wrong in my life and how awful of a human being I truly am. The first time I heard this song, I played it over and over, finding a weird piece in this gentle little song with several perspectives tied together to show the world isn't so simple as good versus evil. This song is an attempt to tie 3 ideas together that are all perspectives on John Wayne Gacy's case. 1, people have secrets that they keep hidden, and though some are worse than others, we all do it. 2, bad people are still just people. And 3rd, the horror of the experience of his victims, who are just boys, who are only beginning their lives, and the shock this brings to people who hear about the story.
27 people, even more. They were boys with their cars, summer jobs, oh my God.
And the way that we can also take that thought and reflect back to John Wayne Gacy's very troubled childhood and the abuses he suffered.
His father was a drinker,
and his mother cried in bed.
The through line of this song invites us to remember that even the worst of human beings were once children and are still just people living the best way that they know how. And that's a fundamental aspect of humanity we cannot deny, either to them or to ourselves. Because when you look deeper into it all, you realize that we're all kind of fucked up. So in a way, we are all just like him. Because we have secrets hidden beneath the floorboards in several senses, but particularly the floorboards in the house in our mind.
And in my best behavior, I am really just like him.
And if you've heard this song before, you may have realized that it's how I got the name Beneath the Floorboards.
Look beneath the floorboards for the secrets I have hid.
And I named this channel because I was deeply struck by the idea that we all have things hidden beneath our own personal floorboards, just like John Wayne Gacy. And while most of us don't have his rage, lack of empathy, enjoyment of the suffering of others, or the want to kill, we share something with John Wayne Gacy and his victims. Our humanity, our secrets, the parts of us that we keep hidden to save face. How we were all innocent children once, and how things that happen to innocent children can lead to incredibly damaged people who then damage other people. These kind of meta explorations are exactly what I'm trying to do in my videos. Explore the humanity beneath the surface of the situation. And there will never be enough stories seeking the honest humanity in situations, particularly the rarely told stories that people would otherwise turn away from. With my videos, I could easily aim for sensationalism or holier-than-thou critiques, but there are enough of both of those already on YouTube. And really, no one needs to be told murder is wrong. We all know that, despite the fact that it happens all the time in accepted and non-accepted ways. Even most of the serial killers and killers that are discussed on true crime channels know murder is wrong. They do it anyway. And that's really the question I'm interested in. Why do people choose to do things that they know are wrong? So if you're interested in looking at these aspects of humanity, I encourage you to subscribe to my channel and to check out this video of mine that YouTube's AI thinks you'll really enjoy. I also have a true crime music playlist that you should also see on your screen right now. And of course, please tune in and join me in the future, because there's always something lurking beneath the floorboards.